Good afternoon. It is June 20th, 2025 at 2:10 PM. This is an unusual meeting time for us. It's because it's the only time this week with summer travels, et cetera, that we could get an in-person quorum. So here we are. Announcements, Community Day is Saturday from 4 to 8. Sounds like a really great time. 6 live bands, bouncy houses, all sorts of vendors, and it's all within Dockside. Opportunity to add or modify the agenda. Any requests? Okay.
One item,
Oh, yes.
approval potentially of a new employee,
An intern, right?
a new intern.
Abigail, we just got this from Abigail. Everybody should have it. So let's add it and we'll discuss it. Under item 3E, intern. Coming to us now because we're looking at timeline of what Abigail's proposing and realizing we don't meet again until July 9th, other than business meetings, other than bill paying meetings. Okay, first item is discuss the food truck moratorium, and I hope we can set a date for. I have that packet, please. Hope we can set a date for public hearing. So I want to confirm, Laura, that your edits, which were good ones, have been made. It is consistently 6 months.
Yeah,
And the other was the definition or the expanding the
Yeah.
discussion of nuisance. To include.
yeah, perfect. Odor in there.
Any further discussion on the moratorium?
No,
Would someone like to move the motion?
do we have to set the actual date? Is it,
So the next week, we are not in session other than for bill paying. July 2nd is the holiday and I doubt that's a good time for anybody to be. But we want to be transparent on a holiday week. I think it's not a good idea
so
to
no meeting that week?
agree in a week. Thank you for finishing my sentence. July 9th would be the monthly meeting.
Okay.
And I would propose that we hold the public hearing on the moratorium on the 9th.
Okay, I can read the resolution.
And it should say, right now it says June, it should say July.
Yeah. Resolution 22/2025, setting a date and time for a public hearing on proposed local laws setting a moratorium on food trucks. The following resolution was offered by Trustee Bozy for adoption and seconded by
Let's do it.
Where the Board of Trustees of the Village of Cold Spring seeks to update the local laws of the village by establishing a moratorium on food trucks and set a time and place for a public hearing to consider such moratorium. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved that a public hearing will be held by the village board in order to receive comments and suggestions regarding the proposed local law for the proposed moratorium and to receive any comments concerning the potential adverse impacts of said local law on Wednesday, July 9th, thank you, at 7 PM at Village Hall, 85 Main Street, Cold Spring, New York. And let it be further resolved that the village clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause said public notice of said hearing to be given as provided by law.
Roll call.
On roll call vote, trustee Bozy,
Aye.
trustee Woods,
Aye.
Mayor Foley.
Aye.
I believe the ayes do have it.
You? Great. So Greg, we'll just need to get this up on the website for people to view with the announcement, with the text. Thank you very much. Next item, so we have in front of us a draft paid time off donation policy. We have a particular circumstance with an employee who's expecting a child and has not been here long enough to have earned a chunk of time. So other employees have offered to donate some of their paid time off. We don't have a policy to do that currently. What we have in front of us is a draft. There are still some fine-tuned elements to work out in terms of eligibility to donate and eligibility to receive. But I think that we all want to make sure that this employee has what they need and is taken care of. So the proposal that I'd like to make today, we can discuss, But ultimately, what I'd like to get to today is approving the policy in principle with a return of the final text to the Board of Trustees so that this particular employee is eligible to receive time off should that person become a parent before we next meet. Discussion.
I think, well, one, I'd like to recognize the generosity of the staff who are willing to give the time. Two, I think it's a great policy and we should definitely work on the language so that we can put it in the handbook and have it be set for the entire staff. And three, as long as we can make sure that person who's expecting their baby gets to use that time that's being donated while we work on this language. All makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't want it to have to come back to us with the next meeting on July 9th.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And well, I mean, we'll need to circulate the final text, but I think what we need to fill in is stuff that we need to work with the Putnam County Personnel Department on to get eligibility sealed down. And the village attorney has drafted this, and I think the thing that was most concerning for both the time donor and the donee is income tax considerations. I do feel very comfortable with that section as it is drafted, that the employee assumes liability for taxes resulting from PTO donation, both the donor and the donee. So the village is covered in that respect. Okay, so I would make a motion to accept in principle and extend the benefit of the policy to the employee in need, and then return the final text to the Board of Trustees.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks. Again, I see we have some folks who've just joined us. I apologize that we're doing a meeting on Friday at 2:10. It is not our normal practice, but this is literally the only time this week that we could get in-person quorum. We do, Juneteenth is recognized by this Board of Trustees. It is not yet recorded in the employee handbook. Tweeps and the clerk are in process of updating the larger policy. So we just need to, so for payroll purposes, recognize Juneteenth as an official holiday for Village Hall and all staff for 2025. So that is the motion.
So.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, summer work schedule.
That was to be a proposal from me to the board. Apologize, I never got a chance to update it. I was looking to implement summer Fridays starting the week after 4th of July, such that staff would be able to leave on Fridays at 3 p.m.
And that coincides with the time that the highway department and the water department leave.
Will already have departed. Typically, their summer schedule, they depart at 2:30. They work at 6:30 to 2:30.
And you all had a different configuration of the board, had a previous discussion on this, correct? Are we comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we need the text.
Yeah.
So, we'll have a business meeting between now and July 9th to pay bills, and we can finalize then.
And this too, that this is not new. We have.
No, it's not new.
No.
And that's another thing that will be incorporated in the updated handbook. Okay. Greg, can you talk us through the intern proposal? This is the item that we added to the agenda. And just for clarification, again, because members of the public joined after we started, we're shuffling a bit to get schedules with quorum during summer meetings. And the next time we have quorum is our monthly meeting, July 9th. But this is a request from a staff member that they'd like to move forward with earlier than July 9th. So Greg has asked us to add it to the agenda, and he's going to talk us through the proposal from Abigail.
Can I share with you?
Yeah, sure.
So our building clerk, Abigail McKinney, has put forth a recommendation for an intern, for a summer intern, who will hopefully allow us to catch up with some of our backlog of building files that have not been scanned into our online repository called Laserfiche, which the Putnam County Clerk currently manages for us. The village some time ago, back in 2017, received a grant to scan legacy building files into that system. And then for whatever reason, there was a gap in the fidelity of the data. So we're gonna go back to 2017, update records to present, and hopefully have a contiguous record moving forward.
And she now, beginning from the time Abigail was hired, she has been scanning everything going forward. It's filling that gap from 2017, when the last grant came, to when she came on board. I don't know why it was my assumption that the ongoing records were being scanned every week after board meetings, but they weren't. And that's not something that came to my attention until Abigail was hired. So that's what it's for. What pot of money does this come from, and do we have it in the budget to do it?
So there was a temp budgeted for in the budget. This would come from the clerk personal services line,
Okay,
for the allotted 10 weeks.
so we're using the person for this task instead of at tax time. At tax time, we usually bring on a temp to help get taxes prepped and out. But we did that with the staff we have this
We did
year,
that with
this,
the staff we have.
this round. Okay, so it's taking that money and reallocating it to a scanning intern.
Correct.
Go ahead.
But that's from last fiscal year.
No, that's for this fiscal
Oh,
year.
the
The
taxes.
taxes
No,
are from last.
the taxes just got packaged
Oh,
in June.
oh, interesting.
And it's an
Not
annual.
when I did my taxes.
Oh, no, I mean,
I was thinking of.
Property taxes.
Yeah.
mailing out property taxes.
I understand.
And that working with the actual, the tax rolls actually come in physical form from the county, and it's literally a physical process of
Okay.
laying stuff out on the table in the other room.
Okay.
So normally we have an intern for that. This year, Michelle did it all by herself and created the capacity for Abigail to get back up on the scanning side.
Okay.
I did not meet Jenna,
Nor did I.
but Abigail's recommendation,
Abigail's recommendation is sparkling. Dennis' credentials seem to be bona fide. And
Great resume.
yeah, I see no reason not to second the recommendation.
And Abigail will supervise.
Abigail will be
with
supervising
with
the
your
scanning project
Support.
with my support.
I met her at the door. She seemed lovely. Okay, well then, I would make a motion to hire Jenna Barone, as our, records clerk intern for a period of 10 weeks over the summer. At a rate of, the rate is not here,
Rate is not here, but the rate discussed was $20.
at a rate of $20 per hour.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye. All right, great. Bills, you guys have the bills.
Okay, I make a motion to approve bills for the current year, batch 7943, in the amount of $75,637.17.
Second. Oh, yeah, sure.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
And for the prior year, batch number 7942, in the amount of $110,216.16.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye. And just for clarity in the public record, we are at the time of year when we are closing out the last fiscal year and beginning on the new one. So we have, the current year represents expenses since June 1st. The prior year includes expenses incurred and delivered before May 31st, but the bill has just come in. We have no minutes.
We have minutes, but we can't.
We have people.
we don't have-
Bodies here to approve it. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
It was only.
So you wanna make a motion to table?
I make a motion to table minutes from 5/21/25.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any other discussion? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining.